Welcome everyone to some lunchtime learning here on the Embrilliance Facebook page. I've taken some time this afternoon to record today's session because here in Colorado, we're having some crazy weather and I'm not sure my internet connection's up to par. So I thought I'd record this, upload it, and I will keep track in the comments as it plays to see if there's any questions on how it goes. So today we'll work on a customizing project using a design from the Embrilliance project blog. Did you know there's so many free designs that are available for you with instructions and information on them? This one that I have here shown is one of the key fobs. Now, one way to check out the Embrilliance project blog, and let's pop on into the website and let me show you a couple neat tricks about the website. So here I am logged in on the Embrilliance page, and you will notice that in the left column, we have a whole bunch of information, including information links on our programs. And there is the start here for those that are looking to get into machine embroidery or get more information on the Embrilliance programs, links to our videos, as well as our project blog. Also available here at the top is a search function. So that will search our entire Embrilliance website. If I click on this, it brings up a little search topic, and I can type in anything that I'm interested in seeing if they have designs available. For example, I can type in Mylar to find Mylar designs. Or for today's project, I'd like to type in keyfob because I want to see if there's any keyfob designs available on the Embrilliance website. If I type in keyfob and click on the search topic, it will bring up all the instances of where keyfob will be. And you'll see that there's quite a few key fobs here on the Embrilliance project blog. Let's go to this first one, which is a customizing. It's a nice simple one. There is information in the project blog on this, including a link to stitching instructions if you've never stitched out a design like this before. So this is where you would click on to download the design, and once it's on your computer, you can open the design into your Embrilliance software. If you are not familiar with how to open designs into your Embrilliance software, be sure to check the Embrilliance YouTube page, our YouTube channel, and go to our quick tip videos. I will include that link in the original description here. So we have an empty design page, and I want to open that design, so I'm going to click on the open button here, navigate to where it is on my computer, to where I have downloaded and unzipped it to, and click open. When it opens the design, you'll notice that it's at a 45-degree angle because it's set to stitch in a 4x4 hoop. One thing to do is one thing I wanted to do with this project was to put multiples in one hoop. So the first thing I will do is go to my preferences here, choose the hoop that I want to stitch it in, which will be the 130 by 180 or the 5x7 hoop. I'm going to click on apply and click OK. The hoop will show up on my screen. If the hoop is not showing on your screen, be sure to go to your view menu. This is what controls what is showing. So my grid is turned off, my hoop is turned on. This is also where if you are missing your lettering properties or coloring properties, which is the one right here, this color tab box, if you go to the views, you can choose to reset, and that will put all of your views back to the way they normally are. So my hoop is selected, so I am fine. In quick tip video number 1, it shows you that if you put your mouse cursor on the word hoop and double click, it rotates your hoop. Super duper simple. You want to make sure you check out that quick tip videos playlist on the Embrilliance YouTube channel. Now, if you notice, our key fob is cattywampus. It's actually 45 degrees. If I select all the stitches, so if I go to the edit menu and choose select all, you'll notice here that there's a 45 degrees, and that's because this is a BE file that was rotated before it was saved. So I'm going to simply select this and type in 0, hit the enter key, and that rotates all the stitches so that they're going up and down. And I can move this all around my hoop to see where it is that I want to place this. Now I'm going to want to put multiple ones in the hoop, so I'll move this one over to the left-hand side. One shortcut for selecting all stitches, you can go to the edit menu and choose select all. However, at the very top of our object pane here, you will see that there is a shortcut button. When you put your mouse cursor on it, it says select all. When you click on it, that selects all the stitches on your design page. Now, if I want to make a copy of this and paste it so that I actually have more than one in my hoop, while it's selected, so I selected all, I will go up here to the copy button. What that does, I'm going to click off of this, is that it takes all of those stitches and it copies it to the Mac clipboard or the Windows clipboard. So it's kind of hanging out here in your memory, computer memory. It's there so that if you hit the paste button, it actually pastes a copy and keeps it selected right on top of the original so that you can put your mouse cursor on it and move it over to the right-hand side. It's still copied in the clipboard. So if I'm going to just click off of it so that nothing's selected, and I click on paste again, it pastes another copy right on top of the original, so I can put my mouse cursor on the selection, left click, hold, and drag it over to the right-hand side. So I now have 3 copies of the exact same key fob in my hoop. Couple things to notice here, though, is that, first of all, they aren't lined up. So I want to make sure that I do line them up, and I'm going to show you a trick on how to do that. But if you've ever done key fobs, and you have done multiples in a hoop, you want to be able to trim, or if you're going to use your cutter, that's fine. But one thing I want to do is I want to take this center one and I want to flip it around so that when I cut in between the two of them, I don't have to be really that perfect. I'll have extra space. It gives me a little bit more wiggle room or cutting room on my key fob area. So I'm going to grab my mouse cursor and left click up here above the hoop, drag so that that little box, that dash box, is going to encompass all that center one, and release my mouse button so that center one is selected. The reason I can't just click on it is because it's not grouped together, and all I did was I clicked on the letter A, so I didn't get all the stitches. And an easy way for me to just get all the stitches is put my mouse cursor up here at the top, left click, drag, release my mouse button, and everything that is in that selection box gets selected. Now I can use this shortcut button here and click on it twice, because once will go 90 degrees and one more time goes 90 degrees up and down. Click off of it and you'll see that all of my items are nice and lined up properly. Now, I want to align these. Now, the reason, if you notice, they are individual designs. So I'm going to hit the Command or Control E on my keyboard, which will squish up all the designs here in my object pane. So you'll see that I have a whole bunch of designs. In fact, the computer or the program says I have 9 design objects. Some of them are placements, some of them are letters, and some of them are the finishing stitches. Okay, because it's all these 3 designs actually make up one. So I want to align each one of these. The first thing, what I probably should have done from the beginning was group the first one and copied and pasted it, but I didn't. So what I need to do is I need to select one, and then I'm going to go to the edit key and I'm going to choose the group. That means when I click on this, I select the entire one key fob on its own. This step is necessary to do for each one of them because I want to align all of the designs. And if I don't group them or group all these components together, it's going to try and align the 9 pieces as opposed to 3 groups. So I'm grouping all 3 of these together, or I'm grouping each one of these separate so that if I click on this first one, I get the front one on the left. Click on the next one here, I get the middle one. And no matter where I click on stitches, I get each individual one because now they're groups. So if I select all of these at one time together and I go to Align and Distribute, which is this button here on my top menu bar, this brings up a dialog box that says, I want to align each of these together. Because if you notice, this box, it has them all selected, and there's a space up here at the top, space here, and a space here. And I would rather use as little, I'm frugal. I want to use as little marine vinyl as possible, or cork, or whatever my material is. So I want them all to be aligned in the center so that I use as small piece as possible. So I'm looking across. I want them to be centered going in this horizontal direction. So I'm going to click this button and I'm going to click on Apply and watch what happens to the center one and the 2 ones on the sides. See how they all squinched up? Now that dashed box is all close together, all nice and even. The distribute function will make sure that the space in between each one of these from left to right is even. So I'm only going to worry about the spacing in this direction. So I'm going to click on the space button and I'm going to click on Apply. And oh, it just moved over just a tiny bit because I was pretty good with my distribution. You didn't notice it unless you were watching that first one. If you didn't catch it, you'll have to rewind the video and you'll see that it happens. Once I've aligned and then distributed them, I'm going to click Close, click off of it, and I should save my work. So I'm going to click on the File menu, and I'm going to choose Save As. And I'm going to type in keyfobs and click on OK so that all of my work is now saved. One thing I want to do now is I want to change those individual letters. And you can do, they're centered properly, so I don't have to worry about moving them. But because I grouped them, if I click on that letter A, I get the entire key fob. So I need to click on the, I don't want to ungroup this. Why would I want to do that? I might as well keep it all together. But in my object list here, I want to click on the lettering object here at the top so that just the letters are selected. And that lets me choose a different letter by typing it on my keyboard. So I change the A, and my first one I will change to the letter K. And I'll hit the Enter key. And it will use the block font. This one here at the top here, I forgot. I have to go through my object list here and choose the lettering object from my object pane. I want to change this to say, oh, let's do the letter R, but I'd like to use a different font. So I can go through anywhere on my font list, and I'm going to choose, how about Christmas Curl, which is from the Christmas collection. And it places that R upside down automatically. I don't have to rotate it, but because I had already rotated it, it does it automatically. Now, this font happens to be a little bit smaller than what it was before. So if I hold down the Shift key and put my mouse cursor on one of the bounding boxes on the right or up here at the top, whichever one you want, but the key is holding down my Shift key. If I hold the Shift key as I drag that, it resizes from center out. And that keeps it in the center, but it makes the letter just a little bit larger so that it fits the hoop. And because this is a native font, I don't have to worry about making sure that I chose the correct size for this. It will automatically recalculate and repopulate the stitches. Another way, if you don't have the ability to hold the Shift key as you resize, is simply going up here and typing in the size from where your design is. So using your menu bar to type your numbers. You can also use, keep forgetting that I have grouped it. So I need to make sure I click on my lettering object. And this one, I'm going to type in the letter G and hit the enter key. Not only can you use built-in fonts or native fonts, but you can also use BX files such as this one from Jolson's. This one looks kind of nice. It is the 2-inch font that I selected, number 425. And again, I can resize this just a little bit so that it fits in here. And it automatically allows me to change the letters into whatever letter that I want to use for this. I prefer to set up all of my design layout page first and then go through and change my lettering objects so that I have an idea of what it is that I'm working with. One thing to note that the letters came in and they're not all the same letters, same colors. This letter K, for example, at the beginning that we had here, this was in block font. If I go to my color chip here, it's the Madeira Lilac. If I wanted to say change this to a different color, I click on the color chip, go to the thread palette that I want to use, and how about if I change it to a pretty blue color and click OK. Now I'd like to change that R to the same color blue because I'm going to run a color sort. So I'm going to scroll down, click on the letter R, click on the color chip, select palettes so that it goes to my current page, and I can select the same exact color that's already being used. Do the same thing for the G, color chip, blue, click OK, and that has now made all the letters the exact same color. And as I scroll through my color list here, and I run through my sew simulator just to see how this is going to stitch out, I can see that it's going to stitch the placement, the letter, and then the finishing stitches. Placement, letter, finishing stitches. If I was going to stitch this on different colors of marine vinyl, and I wanted to do each one separate, then of course I would just save the stitch file as it is right now. If I'm going to put in one larger piece of marine vinyl and stitch, and I want to stitch all of the placements and all the tack downs and all the letters together, I would want to do a color sort. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, so that I know the size of the marine vinyl that I'm going to use for this, so I can place it properly where it does its position stitches, I'm going to go to the utility menu and choose to baste design. That's going to put a basting box all the way around the areas of where the stitches are. And I'm going to select that basting box, and I'm going to hold down the shift key again, grab this center or the center sizer, and resize it just a little bit so that it is going as large as it can in my hoop. If I have enthusiast, I can go to utility menu and choose to baste hoop, and that will do it the correct size automatically. But I was using essentials, and this is shown in quick tip video number 3 on the basting box. So much information on those quick tip videos on the Embrilliance YouTube channel. Now that I put my basting box in, I'm going to do my color sort. To do a color sort, I've already verified that all the colors are unique and individual because I will need the machine to stop. So I've already done that. I'm going to go to my utility menu and choose the color sort function. This brings up the dialog box that says I'm going to reduce your color changes. I don't have any overlapping designs because I didn't merge files that were going to cause stitches to be removed, so I don't need to worry about any of these options here. I'm going to go to New View, and that automatically sorts the file and puts it in my default hoop. My hoop's going in the different orientation, so I'm going to put my mouse cursor on the word hoop, double click. Now my design is fit in the hoop, and I'm going to click on the plus sign or the disclosure triangle here in my object pane just to run through and verify how this design is going to stitch. Color number 1 is the basting box. Color number 2 are the placement or the tack down stitches holding that marine vinyl in place. Color number 3 are the 3 letters that are going to stitch inside those fobs. Color number 4 is a little decorative inset frame for this design. And at this point, based on the instructions I got from the original design, this is where I slide my marine vinyl under my hoop with the right side down and stitch the finishing stitch so that all of these previous stitches are hidden inside the 2 layers. So I walk through my design by clicking on each color to verify exactly what's going to happen at the embroidery machine. This design has not been saved yet, so I'm ready to go to my machine. So I will go to File, Save Stitch File As. This is where I would put my USB into my drive, choose my USB location from either the menu here on the left side or from Windows. I think it's at the top. I choose my USB location, save the stitch file, eject my drive, and go stitch my design at my embroidery machine. So there you have a quick little project on how to find designs in the Embrilliance project blog, free ones that are available to you, how to open and bring them into the Essentials software, customize them, line them up, sort them, and get them sending off to your embroidery machine. Hopefully you enjoyed today's lunchtime learning. I look forward to seeing you online. Take care.